Welcome everyone to the third round of the Tata Steel Masters 2026. We have the world champion Domaraju Gukesh on our screen. His first two games have been draws in this tournament, and this time he faces the India number one and his good friend Arjun Erigaisi. Wow, what a clash this is going to be between two of the finest players of Indian chess and the world. Arjun in his maroon jacket, I hope I got the color right. And Gukesh in his blue jacket there, supported by Westbridge. Arjun supported by Quantbox. These two youngsters have been inspiration to so many talents across the world. And they always indulge in fighting chess against each other. Arjun in this tournament has started off very well with a win against Pragnananda in round 1, a very solid draw against Thaidaiwan in round 2. In the background, you can see Fiona Steele Anthony, the host of this tournament, interviewing Erwin Lamy, one of the legends of this tournament who's played it almost on all the editions that have happened in recent times. And the players are ready. A handshake here. And Arjun with the white pieces begins to think about his first move. He played 1d4 against Pragnananda. Will he do the same against Gukesh? It remains to be seen. This, dear friends, is the ambit recap of the day. Pawn to d4 played here by Arjun. And Gukesh responds back with d5, the same move that Prag had played against Arjun. c4, and Prag had gone for the queen's gambit accepted. Will Gukesh also do that? Oh, he's going for it. He's taking on Arjun and he's telling him that I'm better prepared than what Prag was. Pawn to e4 played by Arjun Erigaisi, and e5, again the same move. Knight f3 was what Arjun had done there, and will he take the pawn on d4? Pragnananda had taken it. No, he gives a check. So Gukesh is the first one to deviate with bishop b4 check. And you can see Arjun pauses a bit. And now knight to c3 is the best move. Yes, he plays it. So the idea of this entire opening, if you think about it, is that, oh, knight f6, I was thinking he would take here. But now, this is very interesting because knight takes pawn. Wow, and you can't take here because of bishop c4, and you have no time to take because of bishop f7. So Gukesh, on priority, defends the pawn on c4 instead of taking this pawn, but he actually gives white a very solid center now. But he's well prepared, and these are the kinds of openings that create such fighting games. a6, bishop comes out to f4 for Arjun, and Gukesh, maybe he'll go c5, striking in the center. It's quite possible. He could also go knight fd7, maybe bishop b7. Many options. Black castles here. And Arjun plays his bishop out to e2. Look at the imbalances that we have. Black has queenside majority, white has the central majority. I would imagine that such a position is slightly easier for white to play than black. Queen comes to e7, a4 played here, trying to strike at the b5 pawn. And pawn to c6, just hanging on to the b5 pawn there, Gukesh. He would now love to play bishop b7, knight d7, Arjun castles. It's all a question of who makes the best use of his imbalance in the position. So bishop comes out to b7, puts the bishop there, and now next up we have knight d7, queen to c1 played. And Arjun, I think, wants to keep this defended, wants to play rook d1 doesn't want to come under the pin, so didn't place queen to d2, and Gukesh quickly gets his knight to d7. I'm still undecided as to which player has better chances. There is so much happening on the board right now as Arjun takes on d7, and I think taking with the knight makes a lot of sense. I mean, you can also take with the queen, but he takes with the knight. Yeah, that you can also then play f6 at some point to limit these pawns. And now g4. Whoa. Arjun is saying that I'm going all out against you, Gukesh. Pawn to g4. I mean, there were other options like bd1, bishop c2, putting the bishop on this long diagonal, or bd1, preparing b3. These were more calm looking moves, but g4 has kind of created this nice element in the position that white king is a bit weak. Also, white would like to expand now. Okay, rook d8. He plays his rook to d1. Also opening up the f1 square for the bishop that can pop out to g2 or h3. The knight goes to f8. The plan now is to go knight e6 attacking d4 and f4. He goes bishop g5 attacking the queen and the rook, maybe provoking the move f6. Yes, he plays it. Pawn to f6. And bishop comes back to e3. And now you can see here that Gukesh is trying to put pressure on the d4 pawn. He's also eyeing the f4 square. Maybe wants to reroute his bishop. So AB. And CB played here by black. And bishop f1. He drops his bishop back. I don't know, black's position does look slightly better to me, especially because, these pawns are now 3 against 1, while if you play d5, knight jumps to c5, it's not so easy to make these pawns start moving ahead. Although I must say that there is potential in white's position. Imagine a g5 coming in and then both these pawns becoming passers. Queen d7, keeping pressure on the d4 pawn, and now queen comes up to c2. The rooks are connected here. And bishop d6. You can see that Gukesh is eyeing the dark squares. He's put his bishop over there. Queen f2. And the queen and the bishop eyeing this diagonal. What's the next plan going to be here? Queen c7. f4 square. You have more control there. Also, I don't know where the queen's going. I mean, clearly d5 is not that great because of knight c5. And so he goes rook c1, a good move. Arjun makes his move, always gets up from the board, not even sitting for a bit. He always walks for more than 10,000 steps every game. Queen b8 played. I wonder what's the idea here. Maybe he wants to go bishop c7, bishop b6, knight e2 played. And will Gukesh enter in with his knight? Yes, he does. Knight to f4. And now Arjun can go knight g3, knight f5. He can also take here. And he does it. Knight takes. Bishop takes. And now the thing is, I get this feeling that black's pawns can start moving much easier. a5, bishop a6, b4. And he plays pawn to d5. Now, you can take here. But then white is better because of ideas like rook c3, g5, f4. But Gukesh rightly assesses the position and keeps the dark squared bishops. That's very good understanding of chess shown here by Gukesh. And Arjun says, I will pursue the exchange. He goes bishop c5. Pawn comes up to a5. Gukesh starts rolling his pawns on the queen side. Bishop takes bishop. Queen takes d6. And yes, the c4 pawn is weak. So it's not so simple, but f4 played by Arjun. And now, if Gukesh can get a4, a3, he plays it. His idea is a3, takes then these two pawns. That would be something. And Arjun, he plays rook c3, a wonderful move. His point is, if you play a3, I'll take rook a3 and e5. And if you play here, fe. This is the point. So rook e8 played by Gukesh. He's trying to stop this e5 idea, but Arjun is like, I still am okay because take, there's still e5. If you take here, fe, rook e5 is met with take, and d6. The pawn is queening. That's incredible calculation. That's how tricky Arjun is. So Gukesh goes rook c8, trying to defend here to play b4. He goes rook a3. Now b4 is met with rook takes a4. So Gukesh goes back again, threatening b4. Arjun comes back saying that b4 I'll take here. Not so easy. If you play a move like bishop a6, there's g5. Suddenly the rook can swing over. There's attack coming in. So he goes rook c8, rook a3. And Gukesh, I think he wants to play. He looks at the score sheet. But it's not so easy to continue this game. Arjun has potential in his position. He has this move rook g3, g5. And I believe Arjun would have played against any lower rated opponent. But here, he would like to perhaps end the game in a draw. You can see him looking at the score sheet. Can he claim a threefold repetition here? Should he do that? He says a draw. And Gukesh is like, we haven't made 3 times, rook c3. And then he calls the arbiter here saying that, excuse me, I'm going to play my move rook c8 next. And I claim for a threefold repetition. Arjun says, arbiter asks Arjun, do you agree? Arjun says yes. And they make a draw here and immediately start analyzing. The arbiter, who is one of the most experienced ones in the world, ask them, don't analyze, keep quiet. But Gukesh and Arjun are so much in their own analysis. And there's so much that they want to discuss with each other. It's wonderful to see them analyzing here. And truly a great game, in fact, filled with so many amazing ideas in the opening. The imbalances with queenside majority for Gukesh, central majority for Arjun. But in the end, a draw seemed like a fair result. A good game for all of us.